Hey everyone. In this video, we're going to do an update to the local business lead workflow that we've created. And so I made one about a year ago, but the big update has been that Claygent has gotten so cheap that we're using it a lot more in our data workflow. And so if you've never seen the channel before, I run an outbound agency that when I did the math, halfway through the year, we generated 7,000 positive responses for our customers. And when we target local businesses, a lot of times it's tough to get contact information of the owners. This workflow is going to go through how we do that when we are targeting local businesses. We're first going to show how we target people and we get them on LinkedIn first. Then we use Claygent to try to find the owners, and then we try to find generic email addresses after that. And so all of this starts with just a upload of websites, whether you get that from D7 Lead Finder or you get it from Google Maps. It can start from just a website input, and then the workflow works from there. So I hope you enjoy it, and let's get into it. We have the workflow in here is where we're going to get started. So over here, we just have a website input. All of this data is from D7 Lead Finder. When you get D7 Lead Finder, you could just email this data, and we're just going to, for the purposes of this workflow, just ignore that we even have this data. And we're just going to continue on with our workflow because we're going to turn this into a recipe inside of Clay. And so basically, we have this website. Now, a lot of times for local businesses, they don't have a LinkedIn profile, but if they're big enough, sometimes they do have LinkedIn profiles. So when we do this waterfall, we check LinkedIn first because it just has the highest fidelity, just best, this is the owner of the company and you can just trust it really well because it's structured really well. So we just use Clay to just hit find contacts at company. And then we just set it up to find CEOs and owners and founders and all those kind of things. And then we also filtered it for the United States so we don't get any other crazy countries or anything in there. And so then you could see that we found some people and we have their first name and then we have their whole name. And then we're going to push the data to an email finding tool. We all the time use Prospeo and a platform called Kit. And so I just want to shout out, I think the domain is trykit with 2ts.ai. And so I just wanted to shout this out. We've been using them more and more, and we're just using them in this workflow. And so essentially what we're trying to do is just try to see if we could find an email address associated with these people using Kit. And so then if we cannot find an email address associated with these people, or we can't find a name rather, that's where we go to Claygent and we're going to go try to find a name of an owner based on the website. So this Claygent prompt is pretty intense where see how we're telling it, conduct research on the company. I want to know who the owner is, all these things. When I do this manually, I check the website and see if they mention the owner's name. I also check LinkedIn and Facebook to see if we can find them, blah, blah, blah. Like we got all this stuff going. I'll give away a cleaned up version of this workflow in the description of this video so you could have this prompt. But basically, we're just really making sure, do they mention it on the website? Do they then mention it on Facebook? And if they do, just give me the name of the person. Now, the way that this could possibly go wrong is Claygent, sometimes if it can't find the answer where you told it to look, even though in that prompt I said only get your information from the website or if from what you can confirm is their Facebook profile. Sometimes when you do that, it doesn't work. And so the way that we can confirm that this is the owner's name is, again, we're going to be looking for their email address as well. And so if we accidentally, if Claygent screwed up and got the wrong name, what are the odds that we got the wrong name and their email is going to be valid? That's just super, super, super low odds. It's probably just not going to happen. And so you definitely want to use this whenever you're using Claygent, you want to make it as smart and as intelligent as you possibly can and as accurate as you possibly can. But when you pair email finding on top of it, that's how you can confirm. And so we also won't just find a email address. So here's where I guess it really gets interesting. So then see over here, if we can't find a email address from the LinkedIn stuff or from using Claygent, those emails come in here. And then if we can't find an email, then we keep going on and we're trying to find an email address from the website. And this is where, I'm not going to email service@interstateair.com and name, we didn't even get a company owner here. And name Joseph over there because I'm not sure if he's on the other end of that email or if that's even the right person. Now, we probably could change this formula though, because this is coming from the LinkedIn data. So I'm already looking at this and we should probably just make that edit. So it's more so we're not going to trust this company name, this owner name, but we will trust the LinkedIn one. So actually, I amend my thoughts. Just don't trust the Claygent name over here and email services@interstateair.com and use this name just in case it's not actually the name. It's just going to hurt you more than anything. So anyway, here we're using Prospio to just find any generic email address that we can on the domain. Again, the reason we're using a generic email address here is because a lot of times when we're doing our outreach, we only want to reach out to the CEO or the owner. And a lot of times the CEO and the owner are the ones who see this email, which is why we're going to use it. But I don't want to accidentally get like their office assistant and email that person. Now, if you are the kind of person who wants to do that, you could switch this up because all we're doing here is we are doing like email type is generic. You could turn this off and you could get all the emails that you possibly can with Prospio. Prospio is really, really good at doing that. And so we use that here. And then we use Claygent to go out. And if we can't find an email here, we use Claygent to go out and see if we can find another email from the website. And so here we're prompting it to literally go out and find it on the website. It's costing like 0.001 to grab these. So it's super, super cheap. Sometimes I bet it's cheaper. Yeah, see, 0.0. So it's super cheap to grab these. And it'll even tell us, hey, where'd you find it? And see, it's saying it was on this page here. So that's really great. And then we'll validate it as well. These I'm more inclined to just email though, because a lot of times they'll just be catch-alls, but that's totally fine. Then we're validating again. And then we create this master email column where we just roll up all of the emails over here. And then we're just using AI to try to look at the email address over here and then the first names that we have over there as well too, only when they're associated with being found from this workflow in here. And then we try to output their first name that we can determine. One of my favorite things is also to find restaurants. It's super easy to make AI do that and stuff like that. So this is basically how we are thinking about trying to find a local business owner name and then their email address, which many of you, if you've ever tried to do this manually, I think fit exactly what you would be doing as well too. And so I know I talk fast. So just another overview is first, you could just take this website, whatever list you're using these from, you could take these websites. This comes from D7 Lead Finder. We're then using that website to find contacts at LinkedIn because why not just run that test? If we can find somebody, great. If we can't find somebody, then we'll just keep moving on, try to find their email address. If we don't find those people, we'll use Claygent to go do research on the website because a lot of times people will self-identify and say that they're on the website. And then try to find that email address. And then if we can't find the person's name from LinkedIn or from using Claygent, then we're going to go after generic email addresses. We'll start with Prospio first to try to find these generic email addresses. And then if we can't find that, we'll use Claygent as well too. A couple things, if you don't want to spend as much of this money on this kind of stuff, I would probably just drop the Claygent one over here and I would probably just run Prospio down here as well too. And then another improvement I'm thinking about making is adding Prospio to this workflow over here to just take another shot at finding those people's emails. And maybe this one as well too. But generally, this is how we're thinking about it. Last time I say it, LinkedIn data first from the website, use Claygent to research the website. If nothing found, use Prospio to find any generic email. But if you want, you can switch it so you can get professional emails too. And then we use Claygent to go find the emails as well. Another cheap way that you could try to do it is you could use Zenrose to try to get the emails, but we just run into concurrency limits too often that's just a bother for us. So we didn't put it into this workflow, but if you wanted a final check, you could use Zenrose to try to find the email listed on the site as well too. And so this is what we essentially do when we're targeting local businesses and they don't have a huge LinkedIn presence. And here's how we find the owners. So I hope this is useful. I hope this acts as a good update for the video I made a year ago. And let me know if you have any questions in the comments. And I'll try to clean this up and share the template so that others can use it.